Hey, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk about my non-negotiables for aging well and self-care in my late 30s. And when I say aging well, I don't just mean focusing primarily on aesthetic. Obviously, I believe that when we take care of ourselves, it shows on the outside, but there are some things that we can't control. There are also things that we can control, so I believe that the things that we can control are the non-negotiables. And I think I've honed in a lot more on my non-negotiables. And I'm going to continue to share my journey here on my channel. And we're going to go ahead and jump into this video. I hope you enjoy. I want to thank the sponsor of this video, MIDI Health, which is a virtual care clinic on a mission to bring compassionate, high-quality medical care to women. You easily schedule a virtual visit from the comfort of your own home and is accepted by major insurance companies in all 50 states. MIDI treats women in all stages of life with a variety of health concerns, from cognitive and inflammation screening to hormone, metabolic, and cardiovascular support, by providing personalized plans to address your needs, whether it's medication, supplements, lifestyle changes, or further testing. The longevity visits include real labs, expert analysis, and guidance, and a personalized plan to feel and look your best. I'm focused on trying to find a sustainable approach and looking for resources like MIDI to help me as I enter into this next phase of womanhood. I had a longevity visit with my clinician, and we discussed some of the concerns I've noticed in my late 30s. She provided me suggestions, prescriptions, and some lifestyle adjustments and supplements to manage some of my concerns. I really enjoyed the visit. I can easily schedule them into my day without driving to an office or waiting in a waiting room and taking that big chunk of time out of my day. It's super easy to book a visit in the comfort of your own home, and if you're interested in a personalized, compassionate care covered by insurance, click the link below to book your first Age Well visit with MIDI. So let's jump into my non-negotiables when it comes to focusing on aging well and longevity. And my hope is that focusing on health from the inside out will help me look and feel my best, but my main goal isn't to not look like I'm aging, but to focus on aging with intention, vitality, and energy. Taking care of myself has always been my main goal and something I share on my channel, and my morning routine is definitely a part of that. So I like to have my unsweetened matcha that I get from Trader Joe's or coffee. Usually closer to my period, if I'm feeling sensitive, I'll go for the matcha route because it's a little less caffeine. And I like to put collagen in there. This time of the year especially, I tend to get up a lot earlier just because there's less daylight. And getting up before my family does help me kind of wrap my head around the day, set intentions, answer emails, clean up the kitchen. I'll sit on the front porch sometimes, but my collagen, coffee, or tea and kind of setting intentions for the day is a really important part of my routine. The other thing that's a non-negotiable for me is to prioritize protein intake. Recently, I've been focusing on gaining muscle, which involves tracking my macros, not like perfectly. I am working on consuming high protein meals. Again, not perfect about it, but I pretty much have some form of protein every morning first thing, and I try to always make sure to have breakfast. When I was younger, sometimes I would skip breakfast, which was not a good idea. So I try to have a very hearty breakfast with some fiber and high protein. If it's not eggs, I'll do the protein pancakes or waffles, which I've shared on my channel. I've recently found a few fun protein items at Aldi. These are all phenomenal and great for like grab and go if you don't have time to make a big breakfast in the morning, but you still want to get protein. So prioritizing protein is a non-negotiable for me now and will be in my 40s as well because of the importance of building and maintaining muscle. My next non-negotiable is supplements. So I prioritize consistency with my supplements. Every morning I include omegas and vitamin D with my breakfast. After discussing my routine with my MIDI clinician, I added the Daily Brain Boost and Daily Cortisol Support from the MIDI website. Daily Brain Boost contains vitamin B12 for energy enhancement, CoQ10, and choline for better memory and sustained focus, which I think is very helpful from this age on. Well, always, but yeah, just supporting cognitive function. So I have my morning supplements. I take creatine before I go to the gym and work out, and then I take my nighttime supplements. So I will put all of that in the description and why I use each of those as well. So check that out if you're interested in more information on that. The next non-negotiable is movement. And when I talk about movement, there's a few different types of movement I'm focusing on. Mobility is crucial. And when I say mobility, some type of stretching regularly throughout the week. In this next phase of life, I feel like mobility is so important. Finding a routine that works, whether it's, Pilates or just stretching routines. For some, it might be yoga. Just finding a way to move your body and stretch your body, especially if you're doing a progressive overload, which is lifting heavier. So many women, I think, are afraid of lifting heavy weights because of the fear of getting bulky or the fact that you will gain muscle weight. But I think when I really watch like scientists and doctors who specialize in longevity and aging well, what they talk about the importance of mobility, progressive overload, so training with heavy weights, and also just walking, hiking, getting out into nature and moving your body in some way, making that a priority. So that's a non-negotiable for me. Stretching, even if it's just a 10 to 15 minute stretching routine. I'll put some of my favorite stretching routines in the description below. The combination of that with the weight training, I feel so much stronger than I ever have. And it's making my day-to-day easier. It's making me feel more confident. And like I'm really trying to drive this point home. It's not just about aesthetics. Of course, it's great, to look stronger, but feeling stronger is so good. And then also just being able to move your body. Because sometimes if you're doing the heavy lifting and not stretching, you're going to feel aches and pains. So really focusing on that. And it's relaxing and feels good in your body. So I recently got this Swedish ladder. And I love a lot of like body weight movements. I do push-ups. I do pull-ups. I do all variations of pull-ups, and I'm getting stronger in that department. Dips, hanging from the bar is really important. So grip strength is really important. So I do take group classes, like HIIT classes. I take jiu-jitsu. I train martial arts right now. So I'm getting stronger for that because I'm literally fighting for my life in jiu-jitsu. So being stronger is so important. But also I have my at-home workouts. I have my Swedish ladder. I have my bike. I try to get out. And especially in the winter, I like to have something to do at home in case, it's snowing and we can't get out into the class. So I love my Swedish ladder because there's a million things I can do on it. I love my bike and I have some weights at home, but I also like to do my classes at the gym and mix it up. If it's nice weather, we love to get outside. The fall is perfect for going on a long walk or a hike. And in Tennessee, there are plenty of options, beautiful parks and recreation that are so clean and gorgeous. There's a skate park we like to take the kids to. We also play tennis at the local park. And there's beautiful hikes and walks. We take our dogs for walks, and we do this really consistently. We try to get out into nature, get the 10,000 steps in. But in my 40s, I'm going to be focusing on mobility, weight training, and getting those steps, getting out into nature, movement. Next up is self-care. I like to do an at-home facial once a week. When I had my visit with my MIDI clinician, I talked about some of the changes I've seen in my skin in my late 30s. She recommended this estrogen cream, which I was very curious about. She gave me some studies to research, and I am going to try it. So I've been using that in the day. Definitely noticing just right off the bat, I haven't been using it very long. Like my skin is looking a little bit more glowy, a little bit more taut. Then I like to use vitamin C and sunscreen every day. So that's pretty much been a part of my routine for a while. Some form of vitamin C serum and sunscreen, and just simple makeup, simple hair. And I share, those tips here on my channel. It's changed over the years. I have the products that I love and that I use consistently. I try to put oil on my body every single day. I like to use a clean brand like Osea. It's one of my favorites. Another non-negotiable for me is rest and recovery, which is hard to come by at this phase of life. And I think it's important, obviously, even with the movement. If you're moving a lot, you also need to make sure that you're resting and allowing for recovery. As I mentioned in a lot of my videos, red light therapy is one of my go-tos for rest and recovery, not just for skincare, but the overall benefits that red light has. I like to do that a few times a week. Supplements like the daily cortisol support that I've been taking in the evening before I go to sleep, so having my evening routine. Supplements like magnesium and ashwagandha These are crucial for helping support the nervous system, helping balance cortisol levels. And at this phase of life, I feel like it's just inherently stressful sometimes, just raising kid, balancing schedules, work-life balance, all of that. So making sure to support your nervous system. And then the other non-negotiable is mental health, finding the space to find gratitude, to pray, to spend time in nature. I like to literally just sit outside and listen to birds. That's literally so healing for me, and I try to make time for that as often as possible. And being outside with my kids, finding that space, I often just go and sit on the front porch if it's a sunny day. I love to feel the sun on my skin, listen to the birds, pray, be quiet, think. I have my down days, and one of the things I try to do to kind of lift myself out of that space is find the beauty around me and try to make a mental list of what I'm grateful for, focus on growth mindset, and a purpose bigger than me, something beyond me. And for me, that grounds me. But yeah, these are my non-negotiables. We're always kind of shown new and exciting things to try, which is fun for sure. But I try to focus on the things that work and those basics, and just being really consistent with that, almost like boringly consistent. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on in my 40s. And I'll continue to share what works for me. So I hope you enjoy these videos and they're helpful to you in some way. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.